The Red Sox officially have their man to start the 2024 season. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Seat Radio. My name is Corbin, and yeah, we poo-pooed the Red Sox offseason quite a bit, both on this channel and basically everywhere in Red Sox Nation, but it is nice to say that someone outside of Corey Kluber is going to be our opening day starter. This spring, it's really been down to two players this entire spring training, and that has been Brayan Bello or Nick Pivetta, and up until this point, we didn't really know who was going to get the ball on day one. Well, this morning we got our answer, and I actually think this is the correct answer, as well as an answer that could have a pretty big impact on the 2024 season. So what we're going to do in today's video is we're going to break this down. We're going to talk about the 2024 opening day starter, why he was decided to be that, what this means for the other player involved, and we're going to talk about what impact this could have on the 2024 Sox. But before we get into that, we are on the road to 10,000 subscribers. We're just about 100 subs away. Let's see if we can get there by opening day. So if you're new here, make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button. We talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. Helps these videos out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. All right, so let's jump right into it here by straight up announcing who the Red Sox opening day starter is going to be, because the Red Sox are starting the season with Brayan Bello. That's right, Brayan Bello has become the youngest Red Sox player to start an opening day game at just 24 years old since 1988. Pretty impressive statistics from Brayan Bello there. I can't remember the guy's name who started 1988. I'm sure one of you guys will remember it. It's probably on the screen right now. I have no idea. But either way, Brayan Bello gets the nod. In my opinion, this was absolutely the right choice. But that doesn't mean that Nick Pivetta doesn't make any sense. He did put up quite a fight in spring training for this position for sure. His last outing specifically was a 4-inning performance where he allowed 2 earned runs while striking out 5 and walking 1. Overall, not a crazy spring statistically, with a 5.25 ERA and a 4.44 FIP over 4 starts. But we talked about it earlier, spring training stats for pitchers, especially just ERA and FIP, don't mean a ton from a starting role, right? They're working on specific things, movement, overall mechanics, location, sequencing, all these different stuffs that could lead to an inflated ERA. Overall, he definitely did put up a fight, and it does make some sense outside of that because he is on a walk here with the Boston Red Sox, and as one of our subs pointed out, he is the Red Sox Players Association rep, which means he's more than likely not going to take an extension and will go to free agency, meaning this year he's playing for a deal, which could improve his statistics. Obviously, he's also technically the second longest player to be in this Red Sox rotation, although he has spent more time as a starting pitcher than Tanner Houck has, and Nick is a bit of a psychopath on the mound. He would have absolutely fed off the madness of being the opening day starter probably really well and turned it into just absolutely electric energy on the mound. It would have also taken some pressure off of Brayan Bello, especially after he just signed a big extension. I think personally I would have been all right with either of these options, right? If Nick Pivetta got the nod for opening day, I think I would have completely understood it, but obviously it did end up going to Brayan Bello, and like I said, in my opinion, this is absolutely the right choice for opening day, and I'll tell you exactly why right now. The first reason I think Brayan Bello was absolutely the right choice for this role is because he completely and utterly deserves the nod. This offseason, we've talked about it before, but he made it a goal at the start of this offseason to be the opening day starter and absolutely worked his way into it. He was down in Fort Myers as soon as humanly possible after winter weekend to make this dream a reality. He also didn't pitch in the DR this spring, even though he publicly said he wanted to, because both he and Alex Cora knew that if he was going to be the opening day starter, which ultimately was his overall goal, he was going to have to stay on a strict schedule. He had the opportunity, in my opinion, to pitch in front of his friends and family, and instead he and Cora both decided that, hey, this is something that you're going to need to let go of if you want to be opening day, and that's exactly what he did. He worked as hard as he could, and especially with a young star like that, I absolutely believe he should be rewarded for it. And this isn't to say say Nick Pivetta didn't earn it or didn't work for it. I just think Bello was on an absolutely different level this year when it came to achieving this goal, and it absolutely showed. This doesn't even mention the fact that he understood that his slider needs work or his off-speed pitch to lefties need work, right? Which was probably the biggest issue with Bello last year. And in order to get better with that, he went and worked with Pedro Martinez on 3 separate occasions this offseason. He sought out how to bring himself to that next level. And again, I think that deserves to be rewarded. The second reason I think Brayan Bello deserved this opening day start is because he is obviously, and I think definitively, the Red Sox most talented starter. While statistically, overall, these stats might not entirely back that up in his first full season, I think it's clear to just about everyone that Brayan Bello has an immensely high ceiling, and if the Red Sox want any hope this season, he is going to have to get a lot closer to what that ceiling could look like. Giving him the confidence and doubling down that the Red Sox believe he can get there by giving him this nod makes a ton of sense. This is a player that you have committed to building this rotation around for the foreseeable future. You made that clear this offseason. Showing that on the field as well as with the paycheck is just as important. Making sure that Brayan Bello is confident in himself and confident in his ability is exactly what you need to do in order to get him to the next step, because if he believes that no matter how hard he works or how much improvement he shows, he's not going to get rewarded for that, obviously that's going to hurt the ego. Obviously that's going to give him less of a drive to be better in Major League Baseball. And I think the Red Sox allowing him a path to be as confident as humanly possible on the mound, because it is such a big part of his game, is wildly important. And the final reason here is because just like Nick Pivetta, Brayan Bello is a bit of a psychopath on the mound. He may not show as much emotion out there as Pivetta tends to do, but from everything we've heard and seen about the competitor that Brayan Bello is, he's going to absolutely eat up this opening day start. Remember the Astros game last year when everyone was saying, oh, it's a day game, but Bello really needs to get out there and he really needs to prove that he can play, and we really need this win. Remember how that worked out? That was the game that Willie Abreu went off on JP Sears, maybe it was JP something, I think, on the Houston Astros. But either way, right, he came out and he shoved. There's a reason why his starts against the New York Yankees, he has a 1.8 ERA, right? This dude lives for that big moment. He loves stepping into the spotlight and either proving everyone wrong or using that spotlight to make himself a better pitcher. And I think by being in opening day, that's exactly what this is doing, right? It's putting a spotlight on Brayan Bello, and I absolutely believe he's going to be able to step up into the moment. When we're looking at the opening day starter role as a whole, I tend to believe that it's not really that big of a deal. Last year, when Corey Kluber was announced to be the Red Sox opening day starter, I didn't really care, right? There were a lot of people who were upset by this. I didn't have a problem with it because, hey, at the end of the day, this is just one game out of 162, right? We weren't going to look back at Corey Kluber's opening day start when he got DFA'd or put on the injured list and be like, oh, but he started opening day and we ended up losing that game by 1 run. This is the reason why, right? No, it's obviously you're getting a bigger sample size you go on through the season, and one game usually does not define a player's season. But I will say in this particular case, I do think that this is going to have some impact on the 2024 team, because what this is going to do is just statistically, unless the Red Sox are going with a 6-man rotation, this is probably going to make Brayan Bello the #1 starter for the Boston Red Sox, where he's going to be facing a whole lot of other #1 starters within Major League Baseball. And to me, that's going to be a pretty important aspect of the 2024 season. I think for the most part, because the Red Sox weren't able to do their job from a ownership perspective, we all sort of assumed Brayan Bello would have to immediately step into that #1 role and go toe-to-toe with the Corbin Burns, the Garrett Coles, the Kevin Gausmans of the AL East and of Major League Baseball. But this just sort of confirms, and I do think that's going to have some impact on what the 2024 team does, because it's putting a whole lot of weight on Brayan Bello's shoulder. Like I said, I think he's the type of guy to take that weight and turn it into something, turn it into gold, basically, but we're going to have to wait and see on that. So I think him getting the nod for opening day is important to the overall structure of what the 2024 Red Sox look like. I also think this is going to have some impact on Nick Pivetta. We know that he's a very emotional person and he wears his his heart on his sleeve. He was really upset when the Red Sox took him out of the rotation last year and placed him in the bullpen. I can't imagine he's very happy today, right? I'm assuming he's pretty angry. I know I would be, but last year after Nick Pivetta got upset, he went to the bullpen and turned into an absolute monster. Could this be something that sort of drives him this year to really improve his starting statistics? Because up until this point, he's sort of been what he's been, right? He's going to give you a 4.5 ERA. He's going to be that sort of last spot in your rotation. Is there a next level for Nick Pivetta that everyone's been looking for over the last couple of years? And is this the motivation that gets him there? Hey, you were pretty good in spring training. You worked your butt off, but you didn't get what you want. It's time to prove everyone wrong. And on top of that, get yourself paid. I think both of these guys handle both of these roles in a different way. And I also think that both these guys are going to be massive pieces for the Red Sox. If the Red Sox want any hope of success this year, these are the two guys that are going to need to take steps up, and allowing them to fight for this opening day role, in my opinion, is always awesome, because I think the outcome is obviously going to be positive, at least for right now, right? But this is just my opinion. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you think? What do you think about Brayan Bello being named as the opening day starter for the Boston Red Sox? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you think it means anything? Because personally, I do think this is an important step for Brayan Bello, but I could be completely wrong. So let me know in the comment section down below all your thoughts on Brayan Bello being the opening day starter. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Plus, we're just about at 10,000. Our goal is to hit 10,000 before opening day, so help us get there. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. Helps these videos out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the red seats.